Hi, you guys. Shannon Penrod from Autism Live here. So excited. We are at the Autism Society of America conference. This is their 47th conference. Been so many people here that we've met, and I got to tell you, the next guest that I have is somebody who just jumped out at me that I said, no, don't go away. We got to get you on here talking with us. It's Dottie Davis. She's an amazing mom with an amazing story to tell all of us. All of us parents have to listen to this story. If you're sending your child to school and thinking that you are safe and cannot be sued if anything happens, if your child should hit anybody at school, Dottie's got a story to tell us. So first of all, I want to welcome Dottie. I'm switching the camera. This is our Dottie. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
And so Dottie, you and I met yesterday, and you started telling me the story of the journey that you've been on. Fill in our viewers a little bit so we can all learn from you.
Well, what happened was back in 2013, my son has autism, and he's in high school, and he has some elopement issues. So in addition to his IEP, we also have a behavior plan in place. We have a safety plan in place. Anyone who works with my son is mandatorily required to be trained on all of these things, just so they know for his safety and for theirs how to handle them. And we've done that every year. A couple of years ago, I was informed by receiving a lawsuit telling me that I was being sued by a paraprofessional who claimed that my son injured her while he was having a meltdown one day in the classroom. And this was the first that I had heard that this situation had even happened. It had been a year since the incident had happened, and the first I heard about it was when the sheriff showed up at my house with the lawsuit papers. So as we delved into it, what we found out was that every state in the U.S. has a parental responsibility law. And basically what that law says is if, as a parent, you are responsible for the actions of your minors. Now, in the normal situation, that would be if you had a 17-year-old who you went out of town and your 17-year-old decided to have a party at the house and served alcohol and someone got hurt, you as a parent are responsible for those damages because they're a minor. 47 out of the 50 states have caps on that liability, and the average is about $5,000 if you are sued, but you are responsible for your minor's actions. What happened here in Louisiana was the responsibility law for Louisiana has unlimited liability. So we were sued by the para, and the way she was able to sue us is even though it was workman's compensation because she was an employee of the school, she was injured by a third party, being my student, my son. Because it's a third party, the civil law falls into place. So you can sue under the civil code for parental responsibility to the parents directly. And unfortunately, we learned all of this the long, hard way as we delve into this. I mean, obviously, the laws were not written to take into consideration children with disabilities, children who act out because they have autism or some other type of disability where you know what triggers it. You know they're not willfully and intentionally doing it, as the law says, as part of a disability. It's a manifestation of their disability. Unfortunately, in our case, we had asked our insurance company, this was covered under a homeowner's insurance. Homeowner's insurance company wanted to settle the claim, did not want us to go fight it in court, which we felt very strongly we could fight it because this paraprofessional had not followed the rules and the policies we had set in his behavior plan and in his safety plan. If she had followed the rules, she never would have gotten hurt, and nor would have anybody else. But insurance companies do what they're paid to do. They protect you, and they felt like it was better for them to settle out of court and protect us in case we did go to court and for some unknown reason we would lose and could possibly be sued for more than what our cap was. So we never got to fight it in court. Also, the problem with that was, well, your insurance company settled and you didn't get sued, but now we're at risk for homeowners insurance. Because what homeowners insurance is going to cover us if we have a child who's at risk every day that they go to school because they might have a meltdown, punch somebody, kick somebody, and then I'm going to get sued tomorrow by another para. So when all of this happened and we learned about what the legal issues were and how we basically didn't have any protection or any cap on how much we could be sued, we reached out to our local representatives. Our local representative here, his name is Representative Reed Falconer. He was newly elected in our parish in St. Tammany. He was fabulous in helping us write a bill that we just got passed into law. The bill was House Bill 862. It is now Act 226 in the state of Louisiana. And this law now says that if your child attends school and he or she has an IEP and has a behavior plan in place where everyone who works with your child is aware of that behavior plan and trained, if your child injures someone, a para, a teacher, anyone who works with your child, the parents cannot be held liable for any injury sustained because we've turned our child over to the school system. We've turned our child over to the experts. I mean, we all know that you have to have an IEP, and if there's behaviors, you have to have a behavior plan before they'll even let you take your child to school. So this law now will protect families when we send our children to school. We don't have to worry about being sued if our child acts out and hurts someone as a manifestation of their disability.
And so now this is a law here in Louisiana, but this is not a law every place else.
No, it's not. As a matter of fact, every family in every state has the potential of being sued if this happens, because it's considered a third party, and that's what I want to make sure everyone's clear, because a lot of people, when I explain the story, they say, well, it's workman's comp, she worked in it, should have covered. Well, it did, but the fact that she was injured by a third party she wasn't injured like on a construction site where construction workers get injured. They're not going to go, they don't have a third party suit, but the fact that she was injured by something other than what the school owned, being a student, the civil law falls into place.
So we've got a viewer who's asking, what's the name of the law?
The name of the law is, I'm not really going to remember the title on it. I'll tell you it's Act 226. I know it is protection for individuals with a disability under an IEP.
Okay, and they want to know, how can we get it countrywide? I want to know that too. How can we take this national?
Well,
to protect all of us.
Well, I don't know of any other person, unfortunately, or fortunately, that has really gone through this, but ever before. We tried to find cases, when we were trying to put our case together with others, and we found plenty of cases where families have been sued, but never through a third party under this parental responsibility law. And as far as we know, there's not another case out of there. Unfortunately, we were the guinea pigs. I think if you take my story and you go to, I guess you can contact just a local attorney if you have somebody and say, hey, here's the situation. What is our state law for parental responsibility? What happens if my child goes to school, he has a fit, he is trying to elope or whatever reason and punches a para or someone, and they turn around and are injured by it and have to seek treatment? Can they come sue me personally? Now, the first thing they'll probably say is, well, no, it's workman's comp, which you have to remember in this case, but it's also third party. And so that would fall under your civil code. And what is your state's law under parental responsibility, and does it protect families? And I would tell you in most cases, they're never meant for this. The laws are meant for, like I said, typical kids who, the laws say, who do willful and intentional acts. Our kids don't do that. Our kids are doing this because it's a manifestation of a disability.
Yeah, and our viewer is saying that they're in California. I'm based in California too, so you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be checking up on this when we get back to California to know what the laws are. And she's saying, I don't want to wait for this to happen. Like, this came at you from nowhere. That you certainly were sitting there thinking you could be sued and potentially lose your home, and all the things that come with this. That now it may be harder for you to get homeowners. And when you and I talked the other day, I said, boy, this could get to the point where it's a possibility that homeowners insurance could charge more to a family if they have an individual who's on the autism spectrum.
Right,
So
we were at a point where, okay, what do? We send our kid to school, and we take a chance of every day him, if he has a meltdown,
Right.
Of someone, even if they violated and did not follow the policy that we had in place, they could still sue me. Or do I keep my child at home and then I get arrested for truancy because I'm not sending my child to school to get his education for fear of getting sued every day? And this was the testimony that I gave to the House and to the Senate when we put this bill together, and I went and testified, told my story, and it was basically, how can I get my child's education when we're at risk every day that we go? And this is something that is not, it's a manifestation of his disability. He's not doing it on purpose, he's doing it for a reason. Now, to make matters worse is all of us know we need tutorship or interdiction with our kids if they're not able to make those executive decisions by age 18. So we have tutorship for John. We've already gone through that evaluation, which in the eyes of the law mean that he's considered a minor for the rest of his life. So now, this law covers me for the rest of my son's life. It's not once he leaves school. It's any time he does anything with someone else and injures because of his disability. I am responsible for him because he's a minor, and that's nationwide. And that's where the bigger problem comes into.
absolutely. Well, I just want to say, Dottie, I'm so grateful to have met you, because I think, like a lot of people out there, I didn't know that there was the potential for this. I think we all need to be mindful and start looking at what we need to do to get a national law on the books to protect all of us against this. So, I'm sorry that you went through this, but I gotta say, you're such a powerful person.
Thank you.
And you've taken the initiative to make sure that the law got on the books in Louisiana, and to speak out to tell the rest of us that we need to take care of house and make sure that this happens. I want to say another viewer has that viewer has written in and said that her son is 12 and getting bigger and stronger, and that's a concern. As our kids get older, of course, we want to give the best possible interventions that we can, but the truth of the matter is that these things are going to happen, and the staff at school should be trained to be able to deal effectively.
And I would highly recommend that if you have a child that has behavior issues, if you don't have a behavior plan in place, that you write one. And I went as far as, we had behavior plans, but my son's specific behavior was elopement. So we wrote a safety plan in addition to the behavior plan, and everyone who is involved, from cafeteria workers to the resource officer to administration, we had a safety plan in place. And in my IEP meeting, I made sure that it was mandatorily trained before my child ever set foot on campus. Everybody who was involved in it, they had to sign a document saying that they had been trained. And any parent can do this. It's for their protection as much as it is for my son's protection. So everyone who was going to be involved with my son had to sign this document that they were trained. The behavioral interventionist came in, and we actually did mock drills. Because I said, I don't want to try this the first time when he runs. So I had them run mock drills before we even came on campus. So when it happened, which it did, third day of school, everybody knew what to do. Everybody went to their stations, everybody knew what to do. So as a parent, I would recommend you need to sit down with your IP team and say, look, if there's something specific behavior-wise, let's put it in a plan. Let's have people who are going to be trained. They need to sign that they've been trained every year, and that protects you as a parent. And that was the leverage I had, to be able to say, she signed this document. She signed that she was trained, and yet when she came into the classroom while he was having his meltdown, and they already had him handled, she violated the policy and immediately engaged him. And that's what set it off. So that's
we all need. You were a prepared and on it mom, and she still could sue you, and your insurance company still settled.
Right.
Now, Christina Adams, who is an amazing author, she's the author of A Real Boy, one of my favorite. No, it is my favorite autism book, and want to recommend it to everybody. She's watching, and she just wrote in and said, "Can homeowners or rental insurance provide liability protection against this?"
No.
Isn't that amazing, you guys?
No.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge.
Right.
No.
Okay. So the mom who said that her son is older, she says a couple of months ago he bit a phlebotomist. They didn't follow directions and he overpowered them. This was last on my mind, so now I'll have it present. She says, do you have a transcript on this? We don't have a transcript on this. It's live. You guys, we're live at the convention center right now. But you'll be able to watch it again and again and again. We'll post it to our site, so you'll be able to watch this. Christina Adams says, no school district in California would let their employees sign a document like that, and I agree with you, Christina. But it's just a measure of how prepared and on it this mom was, and this still happened to her in Louisiana.
I would say to her that if there's no document you can sign, if this person, I had everybody in the IEP team meeting, so if this person signed being present in your IEP and you discussed it and you put it under your parent concerns,
yes,
that this is what you wanted and those people present, the signature on the IEP is just as well.
There you go. There you go. And she says, hi, lovely ladies. We love you, Christina Adams, and love that book, A Real Boy. Can't wait for your next book. Anyway, this has been so educational.
Well, thank
really
you so
want to
much
thank
for sharing,
Dottie.
letting me share.
I want to thank all of you for watching and interacting with us. This is information for all of us to take away, and I guarantee you I'm going to go back to California and I'm going to look into this further, you guys. But thank you for getting a law on the books in Louisiana, Dottie. Hey, you guys, don't forget, we're here still tonight and tomorrow. We're going to be doing some more interviews live. This is Shannon Penrod from Autism Live. Keep checking us out. Yes, Christina, this mom does rock. She says this mom rocks.
Thank you.
You guys would get along well.
Thank
All right,
you.
signing off, you guys. We'll be back with more later.